at that. That's the flag of the United States of America. Isn't that a beautiful flag?
Yes, it is.
I want you boys to know that I love this country, this great land, the United States of America. I get a lump in my throat sometimes when I see the flag. I can't help but be thankful for the inspired men and women who founded this country. We have an amazing country like none other, with an amazing constitution. There is something so special about your introduction to the patriotic section, and I never want it to change. It's just been so special over the years as those veterans have come and listened to you. Some of them come back and the first thing they ask is Bella going to do the patriotic section?
Well, I'm glad they feel the special spirit that we have there, because we do appreciate what they do, and we just have a lot of gratitude for the veterans that have served for us. And I'm glad that they're touched by what we have to say, because especially those that served not only for their country, but protected other countries. It's very special. And I'm just so grateful for the sacrifice that they made.
And it's so touching, I think, for them to hear you thank them for protecting your homeland.
We would like to dedicate this next portion of our show to the veterans and servicemen and women in our audience tonight. We will be singing a medley of songs that will feature the anthems of the different branches of the United States Armed Forces. So when your song is sung, please stand so that we may honor you. We would also like to make mention of veterans from Canada and other countries that also fought for freedom, because we know that you too sacrificed. When I was young and growing up on the islands, my grandmother used to tell me stories that I will always remember, of how the United States troops and troops from Canada, Great Britain, Australia, and New Zealand all came to help protect our island during the wars. And having no armed forces of our own, I am especially grateful to all of those who fought not only for your freedom, but for mine, as well as those of many other nations. I hope that we will always remember and appreciate these freedoms, so that those who fought and gave their lives would not have died in vain. And all of you who served and lived on will always know how grateful we all are. I pray that God will continue to bless this great country and all other nations that stand for freedom.
soldiers could represent members of our family. Do you know that my father, your great-grandfather, Porter, was a soldier in World War II? And then your grandpa, my husband, Grandpa Dutton, he was a soldier in the Berlin crisis. His unit was activated in the Berlin crisis. And then my brother, Uncle Terry, was drafted in the Vietnam War. So these, in a way, these soldiers represent part of our family and part of many, many families across this country. Arden Rowley was captured when the communist Chinese invaded North Korea during the war. And they put him in a prisoner of war camp. Well, he was in more than one camp, but he had to live as a prisoner for 33 months. That's almost 3 years he was a prisoner of war. And a lot of the men died during that time.
On November 30th of 1950, the Chinese communists had come into the Korean War across the Manchurian border, and they just completely overran us. My battalion, the 2nd Engineer Combat Battalion, was acting as a rear guard, and my battalion commander ordered our colors to be burned because surrounding and capture was imminent for many of us. He didn't want them to be captured by the Chinese communists and be used as a trophy of war. 320 of the men of my battalion were taken prisoners of war at that time. More than 200 were killed during that action. The first several months were months of starvation, near starvation, with a very meager diet of millet or cracked corn. And many men couldn't survive. Many men contracted diseases of malnutrition, such as beriberi, pellagra, antivitaminosis. Dysentery was rampant, and many men died from those diseases, in addition to brutality from the guards and just plain freezing to death. Our captors kept us in that POW camp for about 3.5 weeks. During that time, the diseases that I mentioned were taking hold, and men became very weak. In fact, all along the march, we had to half carry and half drag those who were wounded to make sure they didn't fall out of the column of march, so the guards would shoot them probably if they fell out. We arrived at that POW camp and stayed for the 3.5 weeks, and during that time, at least 300 to 350 men died. The second POW camp I was in a little bit later, another 3.5 months or so, another 1,600 men died. Out of the some 7,140 American servicemen who became prisoners, about 3,500 of us came home. Because I was relatively healthy and strong, that I had a chance to help my fellow POWs. The very first reunion I went to that I mentioned, Dayton, Ohio, 1983. We would sit down and talk, and remember when this, remember when that, and some POW would say, I don't want to remember that, I want to forget it. No, I don't remember that. I simply replied, I don't want to forget 1 second of it. I don't want to forget 1 second of my experience. If I forgot, I would forget those hundreds of men who sacrificed their lives in the POW camps for freedom. And it would dishonor them if I forgot. So I want to remember to honor them. Well, Robert, this is for you. Put it right below your name here. When I visit Korea, many people thank you for your service, and I want them to know, anybody to know, that it was a great honor to be part of the saving of the Republic of Korea from communism so many years ago, fighting for freedom's cause.
served in Vietnam in 66, 67, was wounded and sent home. I was with a generation of Vietnam veterans. That whole generation fell through the cracks.
I just want to say, since I joined in the military, it made me a better man. And once I went overseas to Vietnam, I was blessed. I had a special squad, young men, and that's 50 years ago, and we're still friends. I got them with me today, and that's the best thing, is brotherhood. Well, we always go somewhere different. Last year we decided to go to Washington, D.C., and about a week or two before, we had everything set up. I get a call from one of my young men at the time, and he had cancer of the brain. So I called the other guys and asked them, they said, "What are we going to do, Sarge?" I said, "We're going to get in the pickup. When we get all up there, we're going to go to Winchester, Virginia, to see 80 in the hospital." So we got up there. We spent 3 hours with them. We talked the old days and had a little laugh, And then as we was going to get ready to leave, he kind of asked me like he was going to tell me something. And I leaned over, he kissed me on the cheek, and he said, "I love you, Sarge." A week later, he passed. But we got to see him, all of us did. So, like I said, we brotherhood. And thanks to my wife, in 1998, she found my squad for me. And we've been meeting ever since. Wow. A few years, but now we're going to do it every year. We all getting old now, so. Yeah, we came this year because my wife and I, we watch the show every Friday night. We enjoy it. And we finally we decided last year we're going to come to Branson. So, and I got the boys from Arizona, Texas, St. Louis. And I had one in Nebraska. But
I was drafted in 1969, February, and they sent me down to Fort Jackson, South Carolina in the wintertime, kind of cold, and did my basic training there. Then I went straight from the basic to the advanced infantry training, and by July I was in Vietnam.
I went in for myself. It was all about me. But once you get in there, it's not about you. It's about all of the people. I learned more in my 4 years in the Army than I've learned anywhere. I probably learned more in those 4 years about life and loving people than I had in most of my life.
I want to thank the VA for everything they've done for me. They've really helped me a lot with my PTSD and everything else. I had a great sergeant, Sergeant Powell. We've been buddies for 50 years, and there's 4 or 5 of us left. And we just lost a real good buddy of ours from Agent Orange last year.
I want to thank God for answering my mother's prayers and bringing me home. And now I am asking him to answer my prayers for my grandson. He's in the U.S. Army. I was an infantry soldier for 11 years, rose to the rank of staff sergeant, served 18 months in combat in Vietnam, but also served in Berlin and other duty stations around the world.
So this is the Global War on Terrorism Memorial. So this would cover the war in Afghanistan, in Iraq, the war in Iraq, Desert Storm, and all the terrorism that happens around the world. I think this soldier at the back who's kneeling down is remembering his fallen comrade who died in the war. He's remembering how much he cared for that friend. I'll bet this was the fallen soldier's dog.
The dog, he doesn't really have a leg on the
You
other.
notice that right off. He has an artificial leg, doesn't he? I've heard so many veterans say they will never forget those that died alongside them. They will always keep their memory alive.
I think there's just some bond that holds all veterans together. Anybody in a unit are just willing to lay down their lives for, their fellow soldier.
Yeah. Well, and I think it carries over with them for years and years afterwards.
Yes.
You know, I don't ever want to stop doing the patriotic section in our shows because I love watching the veterans when they stand up.
I love that part too.
And every once in a while, if you've been out there when you see someone turn around and see his fellow serviceman from his branch, and you know, I've seen them shake hands, I've seen them salute each other, hug. It's just really, I thought that's the spontaneity and the honesty of that emotion is just overwhelming almost.
Really enjoyed Bella and her daughters and the tribute that they gave to the armed services. That was special.
It makes my head grow a little bit, makes my heart grow a little bit, makes me very proud that I can say I'm part of it.
I'll tell you, I have a real soft spot in my heart for the Army naturally, and I have a grandson in the Marine Corps right now. I'm very proud of him. It just makes you feel very proud to be an American when someone recognizes it, you know, so, yeah.
Well, it was an honor to be honored. It really was. You don't get that much anymore. Of course, nowadays the veterans are honored a little bit more than they were back when we came home. And, you know, it's a tearjerker. But yeah, it was great.
As always, it's an honor, and thanks for honoring us. It was not always that way.
This country has survived, hearts full of hope, loving one another. One nation under God, America stands strong. One nation under God, America stands strong. Stands strong. America. We are